there's been, obviously you guys have had a good back and forth, but do you feel like right now, like everything's kind of been said that needs to be said? You guys have obviously had some personal differences from viewpoints, but the fight's so close. Do you just shift into fight mode now?
I can always make fun of somebody. You have to remember where I come from.
Right.
Where the day you walk through the door of a special forces unit, you're just pretty much being made fun of.
Yeah.
About everything you do, whether it's running, shooting, rappelling, fast roping, jumping out of airplanes. It's like, oh, you suck. That's a horrible, whatever. Insert whatever you just did there. And so it's just like how it's always been for me. And I don't treat this any different. I can make fun of him all the way walking into the cage, and it wouldn't affect how I'm gonna fight. I'm still gonna be the same guy. I always am in the cage. Emotionless, looking for a finish.
And he's a guy that kind of gets labeled like the way he fights is he kind of underrated, because he does sneak up on guys. Like you see, like when he fought Stan, when he fought Chael, guys that should be weird matchups for him. He kind of does well in those fights. But you're also a guy that kind of has been under the radar on some things, for the way you fight. So do you think in that matchup kind of similar?
I think we're both underspoken in our approach to fighting.
You just said it better than I
did. We're unsuspecting, and you never know how that person's going to show up. But always know they're going to show up. Who would have thought that he was going to be taking Brian Stan down? Who would have thought that he'd be counter wrestling Chael Sonnen so efficiently? These are things where you have to take a step back and look at Bisping and be like, he's very good. He's talented. So I can expect a few things from him, but there are a lot of unknowns, and I think we have to move forward with the expectation that I have to implement my game plan regardless of what version of Michael Bisping shows up.
Do you think he's really irritated with you? Like with Bisping, it's hard to tell to what degree of maybe mad, irritated, pissed off, and maybe he's just playing the game, or maybe he really is pissed, and we've seen him get pissed with Jorge Rivera. So where do you think he's at in that level of annoyance, pissed offness? Can you tell?
His scale of pissed off to irritated, I'm not even sure where the lines are.
Right.
So hopefully he's super pissed off.
Right.
Because I enjoy pissing him off. If he's just slightly irritated, I guess I'm just disappointed, in myself.
Right.
I haven't done a good enough
job.
Yeah,
I'm not as good as I thought I once was.
Yeah.
So I'll do better. I have 2 weeks left.
Do you expect him to be emotional or try anything funny in the cage, or do you think he'll?
As much respect as I have for his skills, I also have to be eyes wide open that he does fight cheap.
Yeah.
He does grab shorts. He does grab the cage. He does poke. He does kick the groin when he's tired. He will knee a down opponent. He'll spit on their corner. These are things that he has habitually done. So I have to be mentally strong, and regardless of what he does through the course of the fight, hopefully we'll have a strong reffing presence. But I'm going to be ready for whatever shenanigans he does in the cage.
Yeah.
For all the shots and all the easy jabs at Michael Bisping, you've also been complimentary and talked about how long he's been a contender in this division. How important has it been for you to get that fight? You actively pursued this fight. I would assume that part of that is because of that longevity he's enjoyed and because of the name he carries and the opportunity to elevate yourself with a great victory here.
Yeah, man, when I came to the UFC, I've been in Strikeforce for a while, and there's Jacques Ray, Lorenz Larkin, Luke Rockhold, and myself, and we could have fought, the 4 of us, I don't even know how many times, and the results, would probably be different on any given night. So when we came to the UFC, it was like I'm a kid in a candy store. I was like, so many awesome guys. I want to fight these marquee UFC names. My first fight, I fought another Strikeforce guy. I was kind of bummed about that. And it wasn't a great performance. And then they give me a UFC guy, and I'm pumped. I'm motivated for a fight. Now I'm fighting the quintessential superstar main event marquee name of Michael Bisping, and ranked in the top 5 for I don't even know how long. He's the perfect fight. He's the fight that I want. Not only because he's ranked above me, but he's so good. So I'm excited.
do pride rules or pride judging, does that suit you better against Bisping than 10-point months?
Yeah. I would love if we could do this fight off damage and off, like a good old scrap. Like, who wins this fight? Not like who landed more pillow-fisted punches in a 5-minute time period times 5. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to just out-volume me. Do some pretty footwork. Look at the judges occasionally. I'm going to try to knock him out.